The story of the Federal Reserve System of the United States starts at 5:12 a.m. on April 18th, 1906. At that moment, a massive earthquake hits San Francisco.
They said it couldn't be done.
It destroys the city. The U.S. economy falls into a huge recession. Unemployment rockets up. The stock market falls by 50%. And by 1907, banks start shutting down. This happens often during a financial crisis. You've probably heard of a run on the bank like in Mary Poppins or It's a Wonderful Life.
There's something wrong. The bank won't give someone their money.
Well, I'm going to get mine. Come along, young man.
Don't look now, but there's something funny going on over there at the bank, George. I've never really seen one, but that's got all the earmarks of being a run.
People panic, and then they start pulling money out of the banks that might otherwise be totally stable. The thing is, when banks fail, businesses can't borrow any more money. They lay people off. There's even more fear, and the cycle just keeps going. And back in 1907, the U.S. government had no institution to deal with this panic. There's no way to even try and control it. So the job of saving the U.S. economy falls to the most powerful banker in the world. One man, JPMorgan. At this point, Morgan is basically running the world economy from his private library in a mansion on Madison Avenue. He starts summoning the presidents of the biggest banks in America to try and figure out how to deal with this crisis. And he says, "Gentlemen, we have to draw the line. We have to stop this panic." One Saturday night, he calls some of the most powerful bankers in America into the library, and he tells them how he's going to fix the panic. He says, "We're going to pledge to contribute $25 million to a pool of money that will be used to save the banks. And we're not leaving till all of you sign." He locks the doors and goes to his secretary's office to play solitaire until the bankers figure things out. By 5 in the morning, they had all signed the list. And that, essentially, was the end of the Panic of 1907. But here's the deal. The Panic of 1907 wasn't the first America had barely survived. There was the Panic of 1819, the Panic of 1837, the Panic of 1893, the Panic of 1896. This was not a one-time thing. It was bound to happen again. And Morgan was 70 years old, working 2 hours a day. He was just not the guy who was going to keep saving the entire financial system. The government needed a plan to help them manage future panics better. And one very powerful guy in particular decides he's going to get it done. The head of the Senate's Finance Committee, Senator Nelson Aldrich of Rhode Island. Aldrich looks at the U.S. economy and he says, "We got to do something about these panics." And it comes to him that the U.S. needs an organization that can loan money to banks. That way people will know their banks won't run out of money. It would stop bank runs. What we need is some sort of central bank.
Good God, man. Did somebody say something about a central bank?
Back in the day, though, people really weren't fans of the words central or bank. So in 1910, he comes up with a plan. He told some of the most powerful bankers in the country, "Dear gentlemen, I want you to gather at the Hoboken train station, but I want you to come in secret. Come alone. Use only your first names. Don't come in your top hat and your monocle." They came dressed as duck hunters, because even though he needs their expertise, it's not going to look good to have bankers designing a system to bail themselves out during future panics. They got on a southbound train in Aldrich's private rail car attached to the back. The blinds were down, and they start work immediately on a plan for a new central bank while on their way to a private club on an island off the coast of Georgia, an island called Jekyll Island. They hole up in this beautiful empty resort for about a week over Thanksgiving, arguing, debating, going through one plan after another. After a week, the Jekyll Island gang leaves Georgia with a plan now officially known as the Aldrich Plan. And on December 1913, President Woodrow Wilson signs the Federal Reserve Act.
Well, it's a great plan, Senator.
And the USA finally has a central bank. Now, whenever a bank starts to run low on money, the Fed can step in and loan them some. It stops the whole cycle of bank runs. And in the U.S., we can thank an earthquake, a senator's secret train, and a bunch of undercover bankers dressed as duck hunters.